everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Erica Schmerica's Reality Recaps. Today we're going to be talking about Before the 90 Days, Season 5, Episode 2. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to like and subscribe to my new YouTube channel, and let's go ahead and get started. This week are Geno and Jasmine. So while Geno was busy, giggling all the way from Michigan to Panama, we got to meet Jasmine for the first time. So Jasmine, who they showed in a bikini getting out, trying to look like this sex symbol, she actually is an English literature teacher, and she's mother of 2 boys. Neither of the boys live with her at the moment, but besides the fact, still giving off a little bit of that Larissa vibe here. So in the meantime, she's super excited about meeting up with Geno. She thinks he's the love of her life. After having really bad luck with guys in Panama and a lot of trust issues, she feels like Geno is the one. She tells her friend how excited she is and how she's ready, to get it on with Geno. She finally wants to see him without the hat. What is going on under that hat? Inquiring minds want to know. Anyway, so Geno finally lands at the airport. He goes into the janitor's closet to change. I don't know why the bathroom didn't work, but the janitor's closet nonetheless. Jasmine wearing her pink snake print outfit. I don't know where all these girls on 90 Day Fiancé find all of their spandex. There's always so many spandex outfits. I don't know. You like a natural fiber. You can't be on this show. So they're meeting up for the first time. The big moment, he comes out wearing his ill-fitted black t-shirt and weird jeans with a belt and his hat, of course. And they run to each other, and there's just giggling amongst the halls of the Panama International Airport. Apparently, that might be the glue of this relationship, because Jasmine's giggle is on par with Geno's. And together, they create this symphony of giggle. On the ride back to the hotel, Jasmine is all over him, like putting his hands all over her thighs. And, that poor Uber driver has to hear the giggling and witness the whole thing. As they head back to the hotel, where she basically, tells him she's ready to go. Of course, the blue pills haven't kicked in yet, so he is not down for that, and decides that he's going to give her a gift. So what is this big gift that he gives her? Well, he seemed to have taken a page out of the Big Ed catalog of romance, and he gave her an electric toothbrush because oral hygiene is very important to Geno. And of course, this was something Jasmine was like, thanks. And she just said, I was hoping for something a little more romantic, but he did give her additional extra heads for the toothbrush, which was thoughtful. At least it wasn't Listerine. Anyway, in addition to that great present, he also brought pregnancy tests, because Geno has this deranged idea that upon their first meeting, he should try to impregnate Jasmine. Now, Jasmine has enough sense to know that this is a wild idea, and she decided not to tell, Geno that she's still on birth control. I, for one, cannot wait to see where this whole thing is going. Next, we met up with Caleb and Alina. So Caleb went over to his parents' house in Arizona to tell them first and foremost that he was going to Turkey and that he had a girlfriend, because they had no clue. He said that he really doesn't usually tell his parents about his relationships, A, because there probably aren't any, and B, because they're super religious and they kind of think like if you're dating somebody, it should be with the intention to marry them. I kind of thought that too, because this show is called 90 Day Fiancé. His father, who looked like Colonel Sanders' stunt double, was kind of, shocked to hear that Caleb had this girlfriend, let alone that she's a little person, and right away jumped to thinking about, what if they have kids and how tall would they be? Caleb should really just do his own tarot reading and see if that's going, to come up in the future. Nonetheless, he has his hair down in this episode. It's all stringy and greasy and disgusting. And, he sat there probably eating like a lentil loaf or maybe some kind of mung bean casserole of sorts, I'm sure, to just be on brand with the rest of him, as he tells his parents, how excited he is about this trip. Later on, we got to see him pack for the trip, which of course included extra beanies for his extra gross hair, big jars of protein powder, because I don't know if he thought that they didn't have, protein in Turkey, but he wanted to make sure he had that covered. Giant jars of protein powder, and then he had condoms. And he kept expressing how size didn't matter to him and how, he didn't care that Alina is a little person, while holding up a box of Magnum condoms. Okay, sure, Caleb, sure. So in the meantime, he went into how he's a very sexual person and how, it's just going to be different with Alina, logistically. Like, they can't like make out and totally do it at the same time and like, can't like align their chakras because of, the height differential or whatnot. So in the meantime, can this guy just be done already? Like, obviously, he's going to go down as like one of the worst people in 90-day history, whether he actually does something wrong or not, because I don't really see this working out. Then Alina in Russia is getting ready with her BFF, Elijah, who is the star of the season as far as I'm concerned, and we're only on episode 2. So he is just so supportive. He's so happy. He seems to really genuinely be the most amazing, helpful friend. And they're all excited, all smiles as they get ready to go to the airport and set off to Turkey, where no Russian Alinas should go. They should just go up to customs and they're like, oh, Russian? Oh, Alina? Denied. Alina's friend is currently living in Istanbul, and she picked them up from the airport and drove them to the hotel, which Caleb booked. And when they got to the hotel, Alina was so upset to find out that Caleb didn't really, check off that little filter item when he was on booking.com trying to get this hotel room for, handicap accessible, because there's no wheelchair access, there's no elevator, and they're on the 2nd floor. So poor Alina has to like hobble up like almost 3 flights of steps to get to this room, where not only did she have to like struggle to get up there, but now like the bed is high and the toilet's high, and it's just going to be a rough time for poor Alina. But she's so sweet and she's so positive, and she's like really excited to meet Caleb, even though womp womp. And there were Kimberly, and superstar Soja Boy. So Kimberly is very, very, very excited to go to Tanzania, although she has reservations about leaving her elderly mother by herself because she's her sole caregiver. So she has this tearful goodbye with her mother. Her mother just tells her not to worry, go out, enjoy yourself, get crazy out there in Tanzania, do this music video thing, have this guy embarrass you on national TV. You do you. So she sets out for the airport. She's all hopeful, and we know this is just not going to end well. Anyway, so then in the other side of the world, in Nigeria, we have Soja Boy, who is being auto-tuned in his studio, coming out with a new hit single called Zara, which is not about the clothing store, but in fact about a woman named Zara that he met on the internet that he claimed to have fallen in love with. But since, Zara kicked him to the curb because there were a lot of female fans that were hitting up Soja Boy and sliding into his DMs. So he kept the song, lost the girl, and gained a Kimberly. And he sat down with his manager and his goofball friends. Thank you, Angela, for that term. And he met up with them, and they are all like, why are you bringing another woman like this out here to watch you film a video about another woman? Of course, there is no logic there, but Soja Boy definitely felt like it was the right move because Kimberly is very supportive and she seems to really be a positive influence on him. Although he isn't sure that he wants to commit to being her boyfriend just yet, he calls her his potential. Isn't that special? Because of his interactions with BGL. It was pretty funny that they didn't really refer to baby girl Lisa at all by name, probably because they thought if it was like Beetlejuice and they said baby girl Lisa 3 times, she would just appear smoking a cigarette. Nonetheless, they didn't refer to her by name, and they also didn't show any clips of her from previous episodes. BGL is out there on a couch somewhere smoking a cigarette, yelling at the TV. In any case, Soja Boy is happy to meet, Kimberly, but probably more happy that he's exposing us all, an international audience, to his new hit song. In another part of Michigan, Memphis is meeting up with her foster sister, Ingrid, to discuss her big trip to Tunisia to meet Muhammad 2.0, which is also, I think his name is Hamza. Hazmat? I don't know. Hamza. So she's meeting up with, Ingrid, and she's making sure to get in as many pork products as she can because she knows when she gets to Tunisia, it's going to be haram. I'm sure a lot of this trip is going to be haram, to be quite honest. Ingrid kind of goes over everything and says, her sister from another mister, Memphis, is very hard-headed, very stubborn, and very impulsive, and she fears that Hamza doesn't really know what he's getting himself into. Memphis does confess, however, to Ingrid that she has a little secret. During the beginning of her and Hamza's relationship, she leaned on her ex for support. She didn't really go into details about what kind of support it was, like support or like what kind of support it was. However, she feels that this will negatively affect her relationship with Hamza and that his jealous side will come out. Because there's got to be a secret. There's always got to be a little secret. And last for this week, we met a new friend, Mike. 34-year-old Mike from Thiels? I don't know how you say it. Thiels. Somewhere in that part of New York where you're not quite sure if you're in New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut. That little spot. That's where he's from. So Mike is 34. He lives at home with his father and grandfather, who he helps take care of by making him burnt pancakes. And he has some kind of tech job or IT job, but he also really is a Lego connoisseur because Mike still plays with Legos. He claims to have not had a girlfriend since the days of his bar mitzvah, but is very excited because he just met a girl from Colombia named Jimena. So Jimena is 24 years old, and he plans on taking a trip down to Colombia to see her, and has already purchased a ring because he plans to propose on this trip and bring her and her 2 children back to the United States. So Mike, who comes in at a total of 5'4", has 2 older brothers who are much more attractive and less vertically challenged, and they are all volunteer firefighters. It runs in the family. So Mike went to the firehouse where he told his brother Matt about his plan of going to Colombia to meet his girlfriend and proposing to her. So in the meantime, Matt is not thrilled with this idea. He thinks it's really silly, and he can't believe that Mike would go down there with a ring. I mean, he probably stopped at Zales or something to grab this little ring, and he's bringing it down there, and hopefully he doesn't get like kidnapped and beheaded for it. Anyway, after that little pep talk, he goes and meets up with his friend John and his wife, Nursey, I think was her name. And they go to a toy store because he wants to, really wow his potential stepchildren by bringing them presents. So as they go to this little like specialty toy store, they're looking around, and the woman who worked at the toy store was ridiculous. She had this like beanie on with like 2 masks and 2 pairs of glasses. 2 pairs of glasses. Of course, she doesn't just ring them up because that's not how these little side cast members work in 90 Day Fiancé. These supporting cast members have to ask these questions. So of course, the woman working at the toy store can already see with her 2 pair of glasses that there are red flags everywhere and that this is probably a terrible idea. But she does wish him a safe travels and also wishes that he'll have a great cup of coffee, probably thinking that he's going to run into Juan Valdez. Anyway, Mike confesses to his friends that he's been financially supporting Jimena by giving her money towards her rent and food and a refrigerator. And he thinks it's not as bad as paying for, Botox or lips. This kind of seems like Mike's going to get taken. I don't know. I really fear for his safety. I really just don't see Jimena sitting around the Passover Seder table anytime. Thanks so much for joining me for another episode of Erica Schmerika's Reality Recaps. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to get notified about all new videos I'll be posting. See you guys again next week. Bye.